When I was a teenager, I liked to sleep in. If I'm honest, I kind of still enjoy it whenever that can happen. But I liked sleeping in so much that it actually was the occasion of my first ever theological debate. You see, I was in grade 9, and we just moved from Scotland the year before, where I'd gone to a Catholic school. So in grade 9, September, I discovered to my horror something that I had never heard of before. It was called Sunday school. I mean, it was bad enough that I had to go to Mass on Sunday morning, but now I was being told that I had to get up the same time as I would get up for school and actually go to school. In fact, it was even worse. You see, I went to Caledonia Junior High at the time, and the Sunday school program was in the same school. It just seemed so stupid and so irrelevant. I mean, I'd just go and learn a bunch of stuff about God that didn't seem to have any relevance to my life. And it was a matter of justice. This was unjust, an abuse of authority. And I had the Bible to back me up. And I said to my dad, I said, it's not biblical. Sunday is a day of rest. Well, I lost that argument. And since then, I haven't slept in on a Sunday in 40 years. So we are in our third week of our Lenten preaching series called Jubilee 2025. As many of you know, the Universal Church has been called to celebrate a Jubilee year, a very special year. And the theme is Pilgrims of Hope, where Catholics all over the world are called to be pilgrims of hope, to undertake a spiritual journey. And during this preaching series, we're unpacking some of the themes in the Bible around the idea of a Jubilee year that in the Bible would happen every 50 years. And if you've been around the last few weeks, you've heard this, but just a quick summary. The biblical themes are release of captives. It was a time of forgiveness of debts, a time of rest, and a time of worship. And 2 weeks ago, in our first week, we focused on the theme of the release of captives. And we proposed that the captives today that need to be released the most are ourselves. Because of the forces in our society that impact us. How God desires us to be fully human and to be free to be in a relationship with Him. Last week, we looked at how the Jubilee year is a time of worship. And how worship is trust-based, covenantal, foundational, transformational, and sacrificial. Lots of big words there. But the homily's on our YouTube channel if you want to check it out. And how ultimately worship is not about trying to change God, it's about letting God change us. This week, we're going to look at the theme of, well, can you guess? Can you take a wild guess? A time of rest, that's right. Very good. Rest. We all need to take time to rest from the intense pace of our lives. It's a deeply human need. And modern technology and instant availability have not given us more time to rest as they promised, but it's simply made our lives move more rapidly, made our lives even more insane. Instant communications that can reach us always and everywhere most often mean instant expectations on us always and everywhere. But the rest called for by the Jubilee year is not just about our very human need to relax. It's about Sabbath rest. Now, we're all familiar with the word Sabbath. It's a Hebrew word, a Jewish word that comes from the verb Shabbat. Now, does anyone want to take a wild guess what the verb Shabbat means? Very good, to rest. Yeah, that's excellent. Means to rest. Shabbat means to rest. It's not just about sleeping in, though. It's essentially about how we can break away from our usual busyness, our usual occupations. We rest from work so that we can rest in God. That's why the Sabbath is associated with the worship of God. Pausing our work in order to rest in God and worship God is also a deep act of faith. The Lord is saying, don't worry about not working 7 days a week. Work 6. I'll look after you. Sabbath rest is about investing in a relationship with God so that our relationship with God can be fruitful. We heard in the gospel today, Jesus tell a parable about the fruitfulness or the lack of fruitfulness of a fig tree. The owner says, cut it down. It's wasting the soil. The gardener says, let it rest. Let it rest, and it may bear fruit. In the Bible, the Jubilee year was even a time where the fields were allowed to rest. The orchards allowed to rest so that they could bear much fruit. Sabbath is a call to us to rest so that we too can be fruitful in our spiritual lives, and the Lord expects that fruit. And in this year of Jubilee, we too are invited to take a break in order to grow our faith, to be fruitful. Now this week we're hosting our annual Lenten mission. It's a kind of parish retreat, a retreat from the busyness of our regular lives. It's a time for a break to invest in our relationship with God. And that is the very essence of the Sabbath, of the kind of rest we're called to embrace during this Jubilee year. And this year, we are incredibly blessed to have a very special presenter, Michelle Moran, who's come all the way across the Atlantic to be with us from London, although she originally hails from up north in England. And so I'd like to invite Michelle to come up and share with us a little bit about why she's here and what we can expect this week. Let's give Michelle a good Dartmouth welcome.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great joy to be with you in this special Jubilee year. As Father said, I'm from England, originally from the city of Leeds, that's in the north. And I did a parish mission once in the US. And after the service, I was outside greeting people. And a woman was next in line with her small daughter. And the daughter turned to the mum and said, "Mum, what language was that woman speaking in?" So this is a Yorkshire accent, a Northern English accent, but I guess you're used to hearing a Northern accent here in this parish community. I'm here for the next few days for your parish mission and with my husband Peter, and we've been married 43 years, so it's great that we get a chance to minister together. In fact, we're founders of a community in England, Zion Community for Evangelism, for Mission. And we were part of the founding group. So for 40 years, we've been engaging in the mission of the church, evangelization. And in the course of those years, we've done a lot of parish missions. And let me tell you, you get off really easily over here. Because back in England, the parish mission lasts a whole week. Very serious. And as missionary people, we're used to greeting the people on the first weekend and trying to give a little exhortation. And then you go through the whole week. And then the final group of masses, the following weekend, you thank the few people who showed up. And the rest of the people, you say, you don't know what you missed. Now, I don't want you to miss out on what the Lord has in store for you. The mission is nothing about me. It's nothing about us. It's all about the Lord. It's about the Lord's invitation. in this third week of Lent. You know, we're on this journey, aren't we? We're journeying towards the greatest celebration in our church's year, that great feast of the Passion that we'll live in the Triduum. But we're on the journey now, and the Lord is saying to us, prepare the way, get yourself ready, stay the course. That's the theme that we've taken for our mission reflection. And the Lord is inviting us at this stage of Lent. He's inviting us simply, as Father James said, to press that pause button. To press that pause button in the busyness of our everyday lives. And I know all our lives are very busy. We all have our routines. Maybe you've got the week ahead planned. And if you have, and the parish mission is not part of it, I ask you to review your week. And I'm asking you to do that because I believe this week the Lord is calling for you to have a divine appointment. A divine appointment. The most important appointment this week is that the Lord is calling you into a deeper encounter with Him. It's as if I chose the readings for this Sunday's Mass because in that first reading we hear about Moses. Now, Moses, remember, was a murderer. He was trying to live his life under the radar. He was taking solace in being a shepherd, keeping a low profile, looking after his father-in-law's sheep. But you know, we can never hide from the Lord. And that day, in the ordinariness of his everyday life, there is a revelation from God. You see, God reveals himself to us in the ordinariness of everyday life. Now, I'm looking at some ordinary people in church today, and I want to say to you, God is a God of revelation, and He's revealing Himself to you in your life. Moses saw that revelation of the burning bush. He saw it. Maybe we see things, but in the busyness, we don't press the pause button to reflect upon what we're seeing. And it's only when Moses decides to walk towards the bush, to walk towards that place of revelation, that he sees the bigger picture, that the Lord says to him, Moses, Moses, the Lord calls us by name. Come no closer, take off your shoes, because you're standing on holy ground. That day, the murderer, the man who's living under the radar, has a deep and profound encounter with the Lord, a life-changing encounter. He receives his mission. He cannot do his mission. He's not able. That's fine. The Lord gives us everything that we need. Now, I want to say to you that at this stage on your journey of faith, as pilgrims of hope, we're all together in this. This is a community invitation, but it's a personal invitation also. I want to say to you, the Lord is calling you. He has a divine appointment for you. He wants you to be able to stay the course. In that reading from the Corinthians, it gives us a severe warning. You know, be careful. Because if you think you're standing, be careful in case you fall. Are you standing on the rock of your salvation? Are you standing on solid ground? The Lord says, I invite you. Come, press the pause button. Take time this week to encounter me in a deeper way, because I want you to stand tall and to stand on the solid ground. Brothers and sisters, I'd be delighted to see some of you during the week for our mission services. I'd be delighted to meet you, to hear your stories. And be assured that I'll be praying for you as we move forward during this time of mission. God bless.